Hi, this is Craig Resnick coming to you from the 2020 ARC Advisory Group Orlando Forum. With me today is my special guest, Jason Andersen, Vice President, Strategy and Product Management at Stratus Technologies. How you doing today, Jason?
Doing great, Craig. Good to see you.
Yeah, great to see you too. I've been thinking a lot about Stratus and thinking a lot about Edge, so you may want to talk about some of the products and solutions that Stratus has, not only regarding Edge hardware, software, but also how do you go about actually connecting the Edge to the cloud?
Sure. So Stratus has built computing systems now for 40 years. We just started having our 40th year anniversary, and we've always put a focus on mission critical reliability. Over the last 10 years or so, we've been working pretty diligently away in the process and manufacturing spaces. And over the last 3 years, we started to see the shift towards Industry 4.0 technology, and we've really pivoted our product direction in that way. So now our new compute devices are being built for either machine-based or edge-based computing. We're pretty excited about that opportunity. We think it's great. And the way we connect it to the cloud is that we're finding that certain workloads lend themselves very well to the cloud, or what I'll call a hybrid architecture, where some of the work is being done maybe locally, some of it's done remotely, and then in some cases, like we've released a solution around Aviva's new technology, which is container-based, where it exists in both. So we tend to have this kind of idea that we're a very effective and very robust bridge from edge applications into cloud scenarios.
I know you had a very busy and strong 2019, which is great. Let's talk a little bit about 2020. What are some of the new value propositions you're going to be bringing to your customers this year?
Couple big things. The first is we have definitely seen a lot of interest in our technology from people who are building machines or process skids. So we're starting to release a lot of functionality to help, and in addition, maybe even new product configurations and so forth to help them drive those forward and get those into market, because we're definitely seeing a kind of shift from computing, even from the cloud to the edge, and now they're talking about from the data closet to the machine. So we're really spending a lot of time on that. So that's an area of emphasis. But the other area is around, as a broad topic, I'll call it manageability. As we are getting into scenarios where we're seeing more and more edge compute devices get deployed, IT is becoming increasingly influential in terms of how that's managed, what the life cycle of that looks like, and what are the key capabilities they need to help manage all these new, fairly rich devices out in the field. I mean, so IT is starting to now come to us and say, okay, Stratus, in order for us to have this good collaboration between the OT user and the IT user, how can we kind of begin to build features in that are enterprise-like features, but they're really built around edge needs. So we have a slew of new features coming in our springtime release around that things like system cloning, configuration management, stuff like that we're pretty excited about.
And obviously as you introduce those products, the big question, of course, always is cybersecurity.
Yeah.
And at this forum, we have an entire day of workshops just to cybersecurity, an entire track of program on cybersecurity. So tell me, from Stratus's perspective, what are you offering as far as solutions, services, partnerships? How are you helping your customers with their cybersecurity?
Well, I think we're helping in a lot of ways. And before I start, I think it's great that ARC has put this emphasis on it this year. I think it's a great addition to the program, which we're very excited about. We built a lot of embedded cybersecurity capability into our product in 2019, and we're finally starting to see customers really reap the benefits of those changes. But what we're finding is that it's not just about functionality. It extends beyond functionality into things like customers are going to want to perform audits on our software. They're going to want to perform penetration testing on our equipment. So what we're doing is we're doing a lot more emphasis going into this year in terms of trying to prepare for that. So when a customer finds something, we have an adequate response to it. We have a plan to respond to it in a timely fashion. So I'd say last year we functioned on functionality. This year we're functioning a lot more on the process and easing the friction of putting that in, because a lot of what we're seeing is that these IT audits are becoming more frequent. And the best thing we can do for our customers is to actually smooth out that process and maybe even front end some of that work for them before it happens. So I'd say this year is a little bit of a different approach to it for us. On the partnership front, to be honest, there's a lot of our go-to-market is built around working with companies like Rockwell or Aviva or large distributors like Rexel here in the U.S. They already have security solutions, so we're not necessarily picking our partnerships. We're actually working with our go-to-market partners to determine if our configurations will work with their solutions. So I'd say I don't think we have something to add to the story, but really we're not necessarily driving that. It's really a combination of us and our partners.
You know, a lot of times when we've been talking to users here at the forum, we keep hearing the word disruptive technology. So one of the things that I was curious from Stratus's perspective is, you know, are you hearing about some of these disruptive technologies from your customers? How are you responding to help them navigate some of these disruptive technologies as far as coming up with different products or solutions or ways to kind of help them with these?
Well, yeah, it's a funny discussion. We definitely are seeing technologies come to the fore. A good example is, you know, as you know, Craig, we have a long-standing relationship with Rockwell Automation, and we're definitely seeing the intercept of the Rockwell PTC Alliance showing up at our doorstep in terms of solutions we're putting in market, in terms of customers we're working with. So I'd say that there's definitely an angle to that. But I would actually take it one step further and say there's also not just technology disruptors happening in the world of edge, but there's also what I'll call business model disruptors. Companies like Inductive, who are doing things differently on the SCADA front, we're starting to work a bit with them more. So I'd say that we're definitely seeing disruptive activity, be it technical or business model, and we are keeping really tight watch on it because we definitely know that it's a fluid market, it's a changing market, and we want to stay on top of what's going on, particularly in the control space, which is an area where mission critical reliability is absolutely critical, and that's really our kind of bread and butter. So that's kind of how we're watching it.
Yeah. I know as we're talking to a lot of our customers, and especially on the OT side, the operations side, they're all very, very familiar with Stratus Technologies for a long time. Yeah. And, you know, when we talk to some of our IT customers, you know, they're learning about Stratus. So what's Stratus doing as far as to kind of develop its reputation and get the solutions across to the IT side, which is especially important today with IT-OT convergence, which is kind of a revolution amongst all industry.
Yeah, I think it really breaks into three areas that we're, I think, very focused on improving over the next 12 to 18 months. On the IT side of things, you know, what ends up happening is we tend to find a lot of folks who will be familiar with the company that was Stratus 20 plus years ago. They'll have some familiarity with their older equipment. And we kind of get, unfortunately, a little bit kind of, our excellent reputation in fault tolerance and mission critical sometimes becomes a bit of a barrier because they think that's all you can do. So I'd say we're spending a lot of time now talking about the value we add to an overall solution. So there's a lot of effort kind of on the product marketing front and the content marketing in front, and that angle is just to kind of talk about what we're doing and how it's different to educate people. I think there's also the fact that we need to, when we position a product like ZTC, we talk to the fact that not only is this a product that doesn't require redundancy, which is first time in 40 years that we've had a non-redundant product, but we also are now talking about things like local serviceability, which is actually a huge cost driver when it comes to edge computing, is how am I going to service the life cycle of this machine? What types of skills do I need to service it? So we're really changing the conversation and how we talk about ourselves with respect to our partners, as well as with respect to the end customer, because, you know, a system not going down has an enormous amount of value, but the truth of the matter is that the cost of managing the life cycle of that system is also a major driver in terms of selecting a technology. So
yeah, and that's probably something that already also accelerates your ecosystem of partners to kind of help fill in any gaps.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and like I said, I think when you tell the broader story about what we do, and we actually come to the fore with like customers who are speaking here at the ARC Forum over the next couple of days, for us, we think that's a real game changer for us because it allows people to see us in an entirely new light. So, and that really is helping us with IT, who may not be aware of us, or they might be aware of, you know, something they did with us a long time ago, you know, and they haven't fully learned about us yet. So,
well, that's great, Jason. Thank you very much.
Great, no problem.
And I'm here with Jason Andersen, Vice President, Strategy and Product Management from Stratus Technologies. And I'm Craig Resnick here from the 2020 ARC Orlando Forum. Thank you very much. Have a great day.